Not clickbait. I'm serious. I've told this story a couple times on stream, but my federal tax return was accepted. Yay! I've told this on stream a couple times, but I want to make this video to get all the facts out there, get them all straight. So this was a couple years ago in springtime. We might actually be coming up on the anniversary, but it was a dark and stormy night, so I was freaked out. Because I'm afraid of thunderstorms, of course. But I had just gotten off work and I had bought a cheesecake from the bakery because I worked at like this restaurant / deli place that made like really good desserts. So I was in a pretty good mood despite everything. It was raining, so I was wearing my black raincoat and some black leggings. Not a good idea to walk home in the rain at night in all black, I guess. My workplace was about like 2 blocks from my house. So this all happened within like my 2-minute walk home. And I had my cheesecake in one hand, my water bottle in the other, and my phone was in my pocket in my raincoat. I came up on the first of the 2 intersections I had to cross to get home, and I stopped at the corner to like wait for the light to change, and I'm feeling really good at this moment. I'm about to go home, I'm gonna shower, eat my cheesecake, and then I'm gonna relax. There's a man across the street waiting for the walk signal like me, and he has a cute fluffy dog with him. I'm like, awesome. This is a great view for my short walk home. The storms have passed, everything's coming up, Marin, man, everything. And then the walk signal comes on, so I start to walk. As you do, you know. I hear someone, I have no idea who, but I hear someone yell, wait! But it's too late. I get decked by a car turning the corner. And you know what's going through my mind at this moment? I'm like, oh boy, I'm gonna die here, I guess. I'm about to die, I think. I'm like, man, looks like I won't have to go to work tomorrow. And I'm like,
you're relieved you don't have to go to work because you thought you were gonna get eaten? What the fuck is this world? What have they done to us? What did they do to us?
but no, I'm not dead. After the impact, I'm just on the ground, wet, conscious, and confused. Not dead. I immediately hear a big commotion, and there's like suddenly tons of people around me. They're all surrounding me, and this was when I lived in a pretty big city, so there were a lot of people out despite it being a rainy night. Dog guy was the first to get to me since he was the closest, but he clearly did not know what to do. He was just sitting there and his dog was just like licking my face. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. Thank you, I love you. And then 2 women came running over and they immediately were like, don't get up, don't move. And they started like holding me to the ground. And they were actually nurses walking home after their shift. They were just coming from the hospital that was down the street. And they asked me how I felt, and I said, I think I feel okay. But they said that I might not be able to tell if anything was wrong with me because of like shock or something. So they held me to the ground. So I hear a bunch of people like, oh, call the police, call an ambulance, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just laying there on the wet ground like, awesome. But really, I did feel like I was okay, I think. I was just shaken up. At some point, someone came out of their house with a towel and they put it over me. I'm like, wow, that's so nice. They saw that someone got hit by a car outside their house, so they decided to bring a towel out because they knew I'd be wet. Like, man, you know, some people are good. There are some good people out there. The nurses, they asked me if there was someone I wanted to call. So I didn't know where my phone was at this point. So they used one of their phones and called my sister. And she didn't pick up at first because, you know, it's an unknown number. And, you know, I wouldn't pick it up either. But then they left a message and she checked that. And she said she was so mad at these. She was like, they could have left me a better message, a more clear message. She said, hi, sister's name. So your sister got hit by a car, and then there was like a pause, and she said like she couldn't even hear the rest of it because she started panicking, and she was like, oh. Like looking at her boyfriend like they just, you know. But eventually she did hear the rest, and it said that I was okay, and they told her where I was. But so she was on her way at that point. Meanwhile, someone went around and found all my stuff that flew off of me when I got hit, and they found my water bottle, my phone, and even my glasses had flown off my face. They put them next to me, but I didn't realize it at the time, but they did not find the cheesecake, and no one ever found that cheesecake. I looked the next day, at that intersection, no cheesecake to be found. Nowhere. I don't know what happened to it. I can only hope that someone picked it up and ate it, because I paid good money for that cheesecake and I know it was gonna be tasty. That's the most upsetting thing about this. Where'd my cheesecake go? Okay, but by now the police and firefighters had arrived, and 2 firefighters kind of like butted their way in, and they just came over and they hoisted me off the ground, put me on my feet. I'm like, whoa. Okay. And everything's going like super fast at this point. Like it felt like forever between when I got hit and when the cops got there. But once the cops and the firefighters got there, it was like shoom, shoom, shoom. The cops started talking to me, and then they also talked to the guy who hit me, who had pulled over afterwards. He didn't run away, so good job, I guess. So they came over, the police came over to me after talking to him, and so like I said to them that I started walking because I saw the walk sign, and I overheard him the guy who hit me talking to the police, and he said that I walked before the signal had shown up, so he didn't know that, you know, anyone would be there. So we were giving conflicting stories. So the cop came over to me and he's like, you know, he really didn't mean to do it. He seems really sorry and like a good guy, you know? He's like a good guy. And I'm like, okay. And then the cop goes away for a minute, and at this point, like, most of the commotion has like settled down. I'm just sitting at a bus stop, and I've got my towel, my gifted towel over me, and there's like 3 strangers around me. I think probably like the 2 nurses and the dog guy. But eventually, it takes my sister a long time to get there because there's a lot of traffic, and by the time that she's there, most people are gone. The police are getting ready to leave. Everyone's getting ready to leave. And people are just waiting until, you know, someone I know gets there. So she gets there, she runs up to me, we're like, we hug, and you know, and then she and her boyfriend, they drive me the 1 block home. They're like, we're gonna drive you the rest of the way. I'm like, okay. And we get inside my apartment, and she's like, do you think you should go to the hospital? I don't know. And I'm like, I feel kind of fine. I feel just kind of beat up, you know? And we call my parents and everything. My mom is a nurse, so she's like, well, you feel okay? Your head feels all right and everything? I'm like, yeah, it does. And she's like, well, you know, just sleep on it tonight, and if you feel bad later, then you can go to the hospital. I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. So we hang up with that, and I'm just with my sister and her boyfriend, who's like, he's like silent. He's like, I don't know what to do here. My sister's like, well, you should text your boss because you're supposed to work tomorrow, but you should not work tomorrow. And I'm like, I shouldn't work tomorrow, right? It might have been me who suggested it, but I'm like, I could get off work for this. So she helps me like write a text to my boss, and I'm like, I was in an accident, I got hit by a car walking home, I can't come in tomorrow, I'm sorry. And you know what she says? She says, oh, okay, make sure you find someone to cover your shift tomorrow. Bitch. I'm like, God damn, you are cold. I'm like, okay. And then I text in our group chat where we like trade shifts and stuff, and everyone's like, oh my God, don't worry about it. Even if we can't find someone, we'll be okay. Just, you know, feel better. I'm like, yeah, you guys are so nice. Thank you. But yeah, that night I lost my cheesecake. My water bottle was all skidded up and had a big dent in it. My phone that I had just gotten like a couple weeks before was cracked. I was just bruised up. And immediately after, like once I was home and I was like, I'm okay. I was like, wow, this is gonna be my personality for a while.